Thursday afternoon chat. Your favorite artists with Jayar.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, if you could please put your hands together, unless you're driving, for my dear friend, Plumb. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hi, friend. How are you?
Good. Last time I saw you, it was you, your husband, my wife, sitting poolside talking about the amazing journey of breeding humans.
Breeding
And,
humans.
We've both, as...
Talking about more specifically the humans that we've bred
Right.
as well. Yeah.
Yep. And the challenges that come with that.
Yep.
And but it is great to see you. And by the way, because I know we have a lot of Plumb fans in the listening audience, last summer the album came out. Beautifully Broken is on it, and there's a couple of other gems we're going to share with all 15 listeners today, if that's all right.
That's awesome. Let's do that.
I'm going to lead off with something I've been waiting to tell you, knowing I was going to be talking to you. Something happened a couple of years ago that I'm very embarrassed about. It was my birthday party, and so I had some guides over playing, we'll just say some cards.
Okay.
All right?
Playing cards.
And a lot of radio people, so we're life of the party type people when you get us going, but sometimes we don't think very smartly.
Yeah.
My buddy, and I'm just going to leave his name out, the setup is just a career moment.
I'm just going to call him Fred.
Fred.
Okay, sure.
Fred in Tampa.
Fred in Tampa.
But you actually made a dream come true for me as somebody that grew up in the 80s. Tiffany, I think we're alone now, Tiffany. That was a song for me that was a junior, maybe 6th grade. That song was a heartbreak song for me. Friday night, I've got no girlfriend in 6th grade.
Yeah.
And when I heard that come on the radio, it was like Tiffany was my go-to. Her and Belinda Carlisle, Heaven is a Place on Earth.
I understand.
So when you told me that Tiffany is your workout buddy in Nashville, I'm like, you got to be kidding. So you got her on the air. You hooked it up. She was on the show with me. And that was a huge moment for me. And her and I hit it off pretty good. And so we exchanged numbers. And she's like, whenever you come up to Nashville, come by my shop and say hi. So, like, for a year, her and I would, whenever I was coming to Nashville, I would text her saying, hey, we're going to try to take a shot at coming to see you.
Sure.
She did a show in Orlando, and I
appreciate those times that you texted me as well when you're coming to Nashville. That was nice, JR. Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's start this interview
didn't.
over.
Sorry, let's go. Okay, go ahead. Anyway.
No, well, it never ended up happening, but we had a pretty good. I always would talk about it on the air that, oh yeah, Tiffany, she'll send me emojis once in a while. 80s Tiffany, and it was just like, she's my superstar friend that I can't believe I'm now friends with, thanks to you. But Fred in Tampa ruined all that.
Okay.
Because at my birthday party, I had gone in to get, some chips or gone to the bathroom or something like that and left my phone on the table. He decides to sing a horrible rendition of I Think We're Alone Now in a text message to Tiffany, basically mocking her. And when I came back, he goes, haha, I just text Tiffany. And he was going like, I think we're alone, like real disrespectful. And sent it to Tiffany, and I looked at it, and I'm like, what did you just do? I was mad. And I instantly deleted her phone number at that moment because I'm like, I can never. It's over. Fred ruined.
Did she respond?
No, she did not. Because it was very.
Do you need me to assist in clearing your name?
I'd rather just look back at the window and say it was a great window.
Okay. That's fine.
Because I can't recover. I think I tried to send a quick text going, hey, my friend's an idiot. Sorry about that. And no reply. And that's when I deleted the number and said, everything you set me up with, my moment with my childhood superstar has now ended.
You can't be trusted, JR. What can I say? You just can't be trusted.
You can't leave your phone. That is you don't leave your phone laying around because your dreams can be crushed.
If this makes it any smoother, I haven't heard anything.
Okay.
So, I mean,
she ain't talking trash about me
I
yet?
have not heard hey, that friend of yours that I interviewed with, I got this weird text message or whatever. I haven't heard anything, so maybe you're in the clear.
I would see if you can say something to save it, but I'd almost just rather
say something.
Yeah. So that was the story. I just wanted to say thank you for giving me that window of time.
And I really appreciate you just destroying it for yourself. That's awesome. No,
I hope it doesn't ruin your friendship with her.
No, I mean, we're not like close
Right.
close friends. We were working out together there for a while and connected, and obviously connected enough to do that. But we don't really talk
Yeah.
that often. I haven't even been to her shop. Did you go to her shop when you visited?
No,
Or
we
Okay.
tried, but we were busy. And
Gotcha.
Yeah. I think I would have looked like a. She
Well,
runs
I've
a
joked that
boutique.
since like 2 years ago, I went red because I stripped all the black out of my hair that I'd been putting in it since I was 19, and I've had like every color under the rainbow, but it would be mixed in with my black like foundation of hair,
Yeah.
like chunks of different colors, and I just had all the black pulled out, and it was kind of strawberry blonde looking, and my stylist was like, "What is your like by birth natural hair color?" And I was like, "It's like a reddish medium brown," and she was like, "Why don't we go red instead of going straight to brown, because we'll just kind of see," because I didn't want my gray roots showing through as much like a skunk like they were with the black hair. And so we went red, and then someone yesterday at dinner with Centricity was like, we could like fake someone out sometime and just, you say, "I'm Tiffany, red hair,"
Yeah.
like I'm the
Right.
80s Tiffany, because she's only like 4 or 5 years older than me, so
Yeah.
I feel like I could fake
yeah.
someone out and be like, oh really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe I'll do that and then
Yeah.
destroy it, and then she'll hate me too.
Yeah,
so.
right.
No,
We could join it. We could start a club.
well, that's what she said to me the first time I met her. She said, "I'm Tiffany," and I said, "Oh, I am too." And
Yeah.
she said, "No, I'm like the Tiffany,
Yeah.
the '80s Tiffany." And she wasn't trying to be arrogant.
Yeah.
She was just clarifying. And I was like, "Oh, wait a minute! Like I think I think we're alone now,
Yeah.
Tiffany." And she's like, "Yeah." And from that night on, we just became friends.
Yeah.
And so, but she has nothing to do with why my hair is red now.
Right.
But it's just kind of ironic.
You will never be able to do what she did because I can't see you going, "No, I'm the Plumb."
I am
The
Plum.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing is I don't have to say that because there's really no one else named Plum.
Right.
But
Yeah.
in the right situation, I might say it. You never know.
Yeah, right. My guest today for the Thursday afternoon chat is my longtime friend. You're, I would say there's a handful of names that I've been interviewing longer than anybody else in 14 years. It'd be you, the Afters, Building 429, that are still at their craft after
Oh,
this, which is
thanks.
great. That's longevity.
Notice there was only one girl in that little list that you
That's true.
made.
That's right.
Anyways,
Beautifully Broken. The album came out last summer, but can you walk me up Beautifully Broken?
it's me, and when I write a song, I hope that there's someone else out there that resonates with where I'm at. But 2016, spent the whole year with Big Daddy Weave, came off the road, and while simultaneously like writing and recording and planning for this next upcoming record, which is where it fell, I did something I've never done in the 22 years that I've been in music. I have wrote songs in reflection of like things I went through or heard about from the past. Need You Now, for instance, is my struggle with anxiety as a teenager. Well, this record, that song, all of it, is what I've been in the middle of, that I'm still in the middle of. So it's kind of alive instead of a record of response. It's an alive album of like, and so in that 2016 year, I toured more than I'd ever toured in my 2 decades in music. I played 120 shows with one artist. I'd never done that before. An 11-month tour, 10 days on, 10 days off. I'd never been away from home that much. And the way they do things is extremely beautiful, but totally different than I'd ever done it. And so here I was growing in a way spiritually that I had not ever really experienced. And the enemy took full advantage of that and put lots of temptations and doubt and frustrations and insecurities and anxieties and pride in my path. And so to sort of combat that, I was writing about it as I was in it, and I'm still living through that. And so Beautifully Broken is I am aware of some brokenness that I wasn't aware of. I've brought some brokenness into the light that I'd been hiding, and have come to the realization that no matter what I've done or what's been done to me or what I'm in, ultimately the fact that I belong to him is that like breath you can take. Like, you know what? No, none of it matters ultimately because I'm his, and he can redeem any of it, forgive any of it, use any of it for his kingdom. And so I feel that way. Surely someone else wants to also have that. And I feel like your heart believes things easier when your mouth can speak them. And so Beautifully Broken is a tool to have that conversation, to say, no matter how you feel, speak the truth out loud, which is, I'm beautifully broken. I'm human. I'm loved. I'm his. even a million mistakes, even a million sins, even a million scars doesn't change who I belong to, where my identity can be found. And so I'm beautifully broken, and I think a lot of you are too. And so
I am going to give you, we talked about females in the faith-based format and longevity. And so you were on that list. I have a sampler. You know, I was one of those Christian kids listening to whoever. It was a small list back in the day, DC Talk, blah, blah. But DC Talk owned the world. But then all of a sudden there was these new artists up and coming. It was like your rookie card in baseball terms.
Right.
And it was a sampler disc of these guys I'd never heard of called Switchfoot, Skillet, Plumb, and you guys were on the same kind of here's who's coming up in the faith-based format.
Yep.
That was a long time ago.
And we all say that to each other when we
Really?
see each other, like, hey, remember, we've been doing this for 2 decades.
Yeah.
Like, remind each other of that anchor.
But to still, the fact that I'm saying new music here in 2019 now is awesome. But I'm going to give you the female. So just know you are on this female vocalist list of, but I want to ask you your opinion of who you're the biggest fan of as far as that is the greatest female in the history of this format. And I have to throw Amy Grant in because she was doing it before anybody else.
Of course.
I'll say Natalie Grant, Amy Grant, Francesca Battistelli had a 10-year window or a 5-year window of just she owned the world. And now I think Lauren Daigle owns the world. Which of those that you're in the category of with, but which of those would you say that's my one? In 20 years, we'll be talking about her still.
Oh, I mean, Lauren.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's kicking some doors down that Amy started. I think Amy broke a door down for women, and I think that Natalie and Francesca have both been really good about sustaining that and reinforcing it. And so the door is going to get bigger, and I think Lauren has just kind of walked through that and helped make that possible, because the art is even better, the vocals are even stronger, the lyrics are even more poignant, the production's even more authentic and excellent. Like, there's excellence there. And that's not to say anything negative about the other three, but this progression it's real, which is sustainable. And so, I mean, because some people, you can, not anyone that you named, but you could catch somebody on a bad day and be like, actually, they can't really sing. Or actually, they're kind of a jerk in person. Or they're kind of a fake. Or, you know, how long is that really going to last? And it's legitimate. It's, so her,
Yeah.
I think you'll hear about her for a very, very, very long time. Her new record is mind-blowing. I love
Plus
it.
being 26, like, and
I know,
one,
like,
one
I gotta fight a little bit inside my heart about that, where I'm like, dang it, you're so young, and the door's so big for you already. It's amazing, but it's awesome.
I took a risk when I had Francesca on not too long ago. I took a risk I didn't ask the same question, but I kind of was saying, I compared.
And she said Plumb. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I was nervous asking it, but I said, do you remember when Carrie Underwood was just starting to go bam, and they caught Faith Hill on TV when she didn't win female blah blah blah, and it went to Carrie Underwood for the first time. It was like the changing of the guard, and they caught Faith Hill's face kind of in a
Oh man, yeah.
And so I asked Francesca, I'm like, is it hard for you to cheerlead the fact that Lauren can sell 1 million albums on her first album, and here we go again? Is she a competitor, or is
What
easy to?
What did she say?
She's like, you took guts asking that, and I appreciate that you did. And I was like, oh good, thank you for not storming out of here. And I set her up by saying it was a Francesca world for 5 years, but all of a sudden Lauren has taken a mantle, but she said, I have to cheerlead them because what I did was not easy, and now she's doing it. I know how hard it is to do and how much work it is to do.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, it took guts, and even me asking you.
But even speaking of that, when you said comparison, our pastor at one point had said, when you're struggling with comparison, because we all do at some point, one way to combat that is to, excuse me, like cheer that person on if you have access to them. Like if it's some huge famous person you can't, communicate with, then you might have to look at a different angle. But to go to them and say, you're doing really good. I'm really proud of you. Like, congratulations or whatever. And I was driving down the road, and my single didn't get added. And I'm hearing Franny's single has exploded. So not only is it exploded, like mine didn't even get added, you know. And I'm driving down the road, and I'm being encouraged by it. And I was like, dang it. And like this moment, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to see if this really works. And so I reached out to her, and I said, you know what? I've been struggling with comparing, like, you know, you came out after me, and your songs are bigger right now, and your single's exploding, and mine's not even on the radio. And I've been struggling with that. But the truth is, what you're doing is good work. And it's ministering to me. It's encouraging to me. My children love it. So I'm just proud of you. And I need to say that to you because the enemy wants to use that comparison to make me jealous of you and not a fan, instead of saying, good job, keep going. And she was just so gracious back and was like, if you only knew the music that you had made years before I came out that had helped mold and shape me, like, thank you. And it was like, and so it just was a good moment to be reminded that everybody in the whole world, like, somebody's bigger than you, somebody's richer, somebody's prettier, somebody's smarter, somebody's whatever, and there's somebody else wishing they had your spot. And so it's like, as much as I'm looking at, you know, Franny at that moment, or Franny's looking at Lauren or whatever, somebody else is looking at me going, are you kidding me? I would love to be in your position, whatever. And so I think to be, Kim Walker-Smith and I were talking last night forever, and she and I were both reminding each other, like, the end of the conversation came back to a place that said, if we need to be faithful with what is in front of us because of the 99 and the 1. Like, that one life is so important, and God uses us, all of us, in each other's lives. And some of us, it looks like he's using us more. Not necessarily. It's just different, because you have no idea, like, that one person that impacted Billy Graham, that one person that impacted that one person, but then that one person went on to impact, you know, a complete multiple generations of, and it's like, we affect each other. So just to be faithful with your role and not to get caught up in it. And it's just, it's really hard to not get caught up in. I get caught up in it. And so those are good things to kind of draw you back into what is true. And so that is one way to say, good job, Lauren. Keep being faithful. I hope you keep a community around you that keeps you, you know.
Plumb is my guest today. The album came out last summer. Can you walk me up Somebody Loves You?
This is a literal play-by-play, which I usually write in metaphor a lot of the time. But this is a literal play-by-play of a story of a broken girl that universally represents what all of us need to hear.
I had one last question on here, and we're running out of time here, but I do want to get your opinion on this. We've talked about it before, about how difficult it is to write like a song that the whole world gravitates to. It is like the odds that a song goes number one. It's so difficult. So whenever I run into people that are like, you've got a number one, and somebody does this second time, it's like, do you know how? And of course you do, but it's so hard. Compare writing a huge hit to raising children. Which the body of work between those two, which one just can suck the life out of you more, being a parent or writing a number one?
Children.
By far,
hands down.
Okay.
Yes.
And you're deep into it like I am.
Yes, they're 10 and 11 and a half and 13, almost 14.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm knee deep in it, and it's hard, but they're both rewarding.
It's
obviously
the greatest thing in the world, and one of the most difficult, all in the same breath.
Hands down the greatest, because a number one is not always the greatest thing in the world. And right. Kids, I mean, they're a absolute gift from and responsibility to God. And it's, I mean, that's just black and white. Yeah. And so the truth of that makes it a little more rewarding to push through the hard, you know, whereas a number one, I mean, you have to kind of ask yourself what your agenda is sometimes for that anyway, because that could be self-serving versus raising children. Right. So, but yeah, children hardest, but yes, the most rewarding.
All I ask as we part, you are the queen, and I wish everybody would do it, but your remixes that you put out after you come out with an album, I always love the remix that I know are coming. So I would just request more, please, because I play them on Friday.
Well, we just talked about the next single, Crazy About You, has a remix by Dave Audet, Grammy Award-winning Dave Audet, and it's sick.
Okay.
It's so good.
Keep 'em
like,
coming.
I
I
almost
love
just only want that to be the version.
Right.
So I don't know if everybody's heard it or not yet, but it's ridiculous.
Okay.
So
All right, awesome. Always appreciate the time. Love the new songs, and it's great to see you.
thanks, you too.
The Thursday Afternoon Chat. Your favorite artists with Jayar.